Who wants to play on the Bucs offensive line? Steve, what do you think? Should we have tryouts?
Hey, that salary looks pretty good to me. I'll take it.
Heck yeah. It's not going to feel too good when you get run over by the Jets' defensive line. I can tell you that.
That's true. Maybe I'll reconsider that, though.
Woof. Listen, they are out of offensive linemen, as it turns out. No Tristan Wirfs, who's still working his way back. No Luke Goedeke, although Luke Goedeke was getting around pretty well, albeit on like a one of those bikes where you have the leg immobilized, like a scooter. That was not good. So
Well, that's a little problem for an offensive lineman.
yeah, his real wheels are broken, so he's going to miss 4 weeks. They put him on IR, but designated to return. So he has to be out at least a minimum of 4 weeks, I believe. So no Cody Malk, no Luke Goedeke. Hope I got that right. Malk was the one rolling around that's out for the year. Gedeke's out for 4 weeks.
Yes.
So you had guys like Luke Haggard and Suo Opeta, who they brought back. That was cut in training camp last year. He blew out his knee. Guys like Dan Feeney, who they just signed from somebody's practice squad. And, in a cast of thousands. I mean, this is going to be weird, but, you're going into this game just obliterated on the offensive line. And yet there's a sense there, and I got to credit Kevin Carberry and Brian Petrucci and guys like that, their offensive line coaches. These guys don't blink, and I mean, clearly the talent isn't the same between starter and backup, but they're not afraid of it either. You know what I mean? Like they kind of hang in there. They bond together. They sort of overachieve, if you will, and it's almost like it's good when teams don't want to let down their own teammates when they play for each other that way. There's kind of a neat vibe over there at One Buck Place. It's like, yeah, we don't care. So, Charlie Heck comes in after 12 plays. He didn't get any reps. Comes in, plays right tackle, finishes the game, and he's on the play that Rachaad White scores a game-winning touchdown. So I don't think this is a good thing by any stretch, but I also don't think that they're panicking, which is also a good thing. And so, as bad as they feel for Cody Malk and not having Tristan right now or Luke Goedeke, they're going to get those two guys back. Ben Bredeson's still here. By the way, just one more injury, which will not be on the injury report because he's still in the practice squad. Michael Jordan is hurt. The guard that they've been starting the last 2 weeks. He also is down. So it's crazy, man. Like your backups are hurt. So I don't know what to tell you, but they're going to go into this game and they think they still have a chance to win. And you know what? Who's to say they don't, right, at this point?
Well, they've piecemealed it together so far, and they've done a pretty good job of it, including shuffling the line and moving people around.
Yep.
You've got an experienced quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You've got weapons on the outside, although will Emeka Egbuka play?
Question mark.
Second straight day of practice.
Yep, not good.
So now you could be down Egbuka, McMillan, and Godwin.
3 receivers. Yeah,
your number 2, 3, and 4 receivers going into the season.
Mm-hmm.
You could be down
brutal,
there, as well as your right tackle, your right guard, your left tackle.
Yep.
Like, so much for having all the gang back together, all the starters back.
It's brutal. I mean, and I think that's you never want to be injured as a football team, obviously. But when you do suffer injuries, the one thing you don't want is to have one position targeted. And they clearly have with the offensive line. Now, receiver is starting to get that way, and that was a deep position. But these guys are starting to get hit and hurt as well. Is this a great matchup for them with the Jets defensive line? It's not. It wasn't last week with the Texans either. They managed to handle that. This team sort of just has this resolve that, we're not going to let each other down, and this is, we're going to work it out, and so on and so forth. And then they go out there and play really close games and win in the final 2 minutes. Hopefully for them, it doesn't come down to that with the Jets. I don't think the Jets are bad on defense. And look, Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starter, because Justin Fields has a concussion. He's in the protocol. And ironically enough, Taylor and Baker Mayfield, that was Baker Mayfield's first starting quarterback when he got to Cleveland. The guy in front of him was Taylor. And eventually he took over for him. But Also, Taylor, I think, he may have played for Todd Bowles at some point. I'm not sure. He's played for a bunch of teams, but he's very capable. He's a guy very similar to Fields in that he can get outside the pocket and make plays, but he's got a hell of a lot more experience. And from that standpoint, he's going to be a pretty good test. So who are the guys that the Bucs are going to play? Well, they've been looking at a bunch of different combinations. I don't really know what to expect to any of these guys because, quite frankly, none of them have really played before with the Bucs. But you're talking about guys like Luke Haggard, who's been on the practice squad for 2 years. You're looking at guys like this Dan Feeney, who they just signed off somebody else's practice squad, and he's a 31-year-old that's played a lot of football. But neither of those, at least Dan doesn't know the offense. Haggard does. And then Sua Peta, who they cut in the preseason a year ago, he looked like he was going to be the starting guard. Then he had a torn ACL. Flash forward a year later, he's back in camp, not quite where he wants to be yet physically. He ends up getting cut, and now they're bringing him back. He says the 3 weeks he spent at home in Utah helped him, and he feels really much better. The one advantage with him is that he knows the offense. He's been here for more than a year, and so that's a big advantage. Some of these other guys are coming here cold. I don't even know you can really get them ready to play the first week. But they're here, because you got to have depth and signings and things like that. So, it's not a great situation to be in, to be honest with you, against the Jets or in the home opener, but it could also be worse in that both Wirfs and Goedeke are supposed to return, which is great news. And Mauk's the only one right now that has a season-ending injury. So you could get most of the band back together, but it's tough sledding to go into an NFL game knowing that you don't have your your two top tackles. Baker Mayfield's clock is going to be hurried up a lot. I think they're going to try to run the ball as much as they can because Rashad looked really great in this last game, as did Bucky Irving. And then from there, we'll see. I expect a close game. I don't expect either team to really run away from anybody. But Taylor is very competent, and even though maybe Fields would be a little more dynamic, I think the guy has played a lot of football. In fact, I know he has. That he could definitely give the Bucs some fits. So it's unfortunate because at some point that offensive line is going to get them. It's going to catch up to them. I don't know if it's this week. I think against Philadelphia, they could definitely it could definitely end up being a bad thing. We'll get to the matchup with the Jets here in just a second. But first, hey, get on down to Breitling Boutique. That's in International Plaza Mall. Now, you've been to the mall. You know where to go. It's upstairs in the center. That's where you're going to find the Breitling store and the best customer service in town. Now, they have men's watches, the beautiful chronomats, the Navitimers, women's watches as well. These are sports watches. They are durable, they are beautiful, and they come in an array of different colored wristbands. And very important that while supplies last, okay, they've been doing this thing, celebrating the NFL's 140th anniversary with all 32 teams having their own team watches. Now, these things are really remarkable. In case of the Bucs team watch, you have the colored face with the red. You have the logos in the watch itself. They have those for all 32 teams. These are timepieces that you will collect and love for years to come. It's Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. Please go down there. Let them know you heard about it on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Spend some time. Enjoy the customer service and walk out with the best timepiece you've ever had. Breitling Boutique and International Plaza Mall. Make sure you let them know that you heard about it on Sports Day Tampa Bay. So as far as the Jets versus Bucs go, I think, this is going to be one of those deals where whichever defense can control the other team, is going to win. Quite simply, the Jets without Justin Fields aren't going to be necessarily that different because I think Tyrod Taylor does a lot of the same things, only with more experience. They've got some weapons on offense, obviously. I think their defense is more the strength of their team, particularly when you go in the middle with Quentin Williams. Like, he's a problem, right? And you're sitting here really without your starting center. At least he's playing left tackle. You got Bredesen at center. Then you're going to have a couple new guards. So this time, instead of worrying about the edge, these guys are going to have to block down and try to keep Baker's feet clean, and this is the quickest path to the quarterback. So I think Baker is going to have a hurried up clock in his head in this game as well. They got good corners. Sauce Gardner's out there on the edge, and they've got pretty good linebackers. I mean, it's a decent defense. I haven't looked up the stats to know just how they fared in terms of how many points they've given up. Offensively, not as good, although at least when Justin was in their game one, they scored some points. Got wide receivers like Garrett Wilson and the like. I think they can handle most of those guys. I think the Bucs are a better football team. I'm pretty sure they're more talented, but if you take away all those offensive linemen and or move them around, and you've got a Quentin Williams, you could create havoc. So running the football will be paramount again. I think they did that better than I've ever seen them. Rashad White looks like a new player. He gets the ball, it's like he's shot out of the cannon. He's not hesitating. And frankly, it's a contract year. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent, so that always motivates guys. So whatever it takes, man. They've got a big damn test at home in the creamsicles. Only this time it's the white creamsicles. These things are just really special. If you're nostalgic, you may or may not have liked them because it was synonymous with losing. But now most people universally agree it's the best alternative uniform in the NFL. I'm not sure they're wrong about that. So it should be a very interesting game. Look, if they can get to 3-0, okay, then you're kind of playing with house money at that point. It just feels like, yeah, you're going to have the defending world champions come in here, Philadelphia, after this, but win or lose, you would have put yourself in a tremendous position. So this is one they really want to get. They want to get them all, but this one would kind of catapult them into the first quarter, ending against against a pretty good defending champion Philadelphia team.
Look,
So
you go 3-4, 3 out of 4 for every the whole season. That's 12-4,
right,
and then you got one more game to go. Like that's a really successful season, better than you've had the last few, which you've won.
They've started 3-1 the last 2 years.
Yep. And if you were to finish 12-4 or 12-5 or 13-4, whichever, like you're going to win the division.
Absolutely.
Atlanta's not going that record, nor is New Orleans or Carolina.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-team race. I think it's them and Atlanta in the South. And they got a win on the road in the division against Atlanta, which is double, as far as the tiebreaker and stuff goes.
And look, the Bucs are beat up on offense and, the line and receivers. But the Jets are starting to back up quarterback. Like Todd Bowles' defense needs to dominate them.
They do, except I would say this, that Tyrod Taylor is so experienced and played so long that it's not like you're going to, Kyle Trask. I mean,
no, I agree, but it's still your backup quarterback. It's still not the guy that was good enough to win the starting job.
Yeah, and Bowles' record against backups is not, spectacular. It's just sort of average,
which is surprising with the amount of defenses and ways he can create pressures and hide things, and which he's really good at as a defensive coordinator. Which every year we have this conversation: should Todd Bowles give up calling the defense? And and his answer, and he's probably correct, is there's no one better on the staff than me, so I might as well do it.
I'm not going to fire myself, right?
Because he's really good at it. Now, this defense would be a dominant defense if they could get turnovers. That's the thing that they've missed for years. They just don't create enough turnovers, which is why at times you sit there and think they don't have a good defense. They're kind of bend, don't break because they don't force turnovers.
Yeah. They've dropped a lot of interceptions this year. Zion McCallum's dropped about 3. They've been in position to get some, but you're right. They have to get the ball turned over at some point. You want to definitely be in the plus on that. I thought the guy that played his butt off the other day, and man, he's playing at a really special level, is Tyke Smith. Tyke Smith had that sack where he just takes the running back and drives him through the quarterback. I mean, it was impressive. He's had, I think, 14 tackles in 2 games. Just kind of seems to be everywhere. And so I think he could show up, in this game for them. Defensively, they've gotten some pretty good performances. Hassan Reddick's been a little nicked up. He needs to get going again. Maybe bring another sack or 2, this weekend. Just a lot of little nagging type injuries and things like that. I'm just not really sure who's going to answer the bell, but it seems like most of them will. With the exception of Cody Malk, obviously. But it should be a good one. Like it's going to be fun. They're going to have the the old Bucko Bruce and the throwback white and creamsicle jerseys. That will be huge sellers. So I think aesthetically, I think it's going to be cool game, and I think the Bucs are a better team. I think they have more talent. I think they're more focused and driven. There's continuity on the coaching. So for all those reasons, I would still think that the Bucs can handle the Jets, and they almost need to, right? Because it's going to be really, really difficult the week after that against Philly.
No question about it. And this none of that. This is your first home. This is your home opener.
It's your home opener, yeah.
Yeah.
Get the people excited. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 3 of the next 4 at home.
That's right.
You really like to be, so 3 of the next 4 at home. You'd like to be 5-1 through that stretch.
That's absolutely true.
You're 5-1, and then you're going to have a commanding lead in this division, most likely.
You certainly would, yeah. No, I think there's an opportunity here. I think there's a resolve with this team. Like I said, I think that they don't want to disappoint each other. They're holding each other accountable. They know they have high standards, and there's just a belief. When you go down and you win the first 2 games on 2-minute drives on the road, that's impressive. That's belief.
Yep.
That's belief in the quarterback, the play caller, all of that. So they're riding with a little bit of confidence right now, although, they're undermanned and they got to find a way to keep winning.
Yep. And we didn't even mention, really, it's been talked about, but we haven't really mentioned that they won in primetime on Sunday.
They did. First time under Todd Bowles, right?
I believe so.
Maybe before that even. I'm not sure.
They beat Dallas the one year at the season opener.
That's right. Season opener after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like 19-3 or something like that.
That's exactly the
score. Was that Arians
score.
still coaching, I guess? That would have been Arians.
Yeah, that was Arians. That was Chris Godwin's first game back after tearing 3 knee ligaments.
Yep. But yeah, they won it. I mean, this team has done something they haven't done in years. Win in primetime.
Yeah. And they haven't started 3-0 in many a year, even with Todd Bowles. So that's you ask guys, hey, how you feel about the 2-0 start? They go, it'd be better 3-0 start. It's like, okay,
they're right.
I get it. I understand you want to win every game. You don't have to remind me. I get it. Professional athlete, I get it.
Well, they're trying to win the game, just like letting touchdowns happen so they can go win a game. Which we got lots of comments on that too.
You know what? And we did, and I think people missed the point that I was trying to make, which isn't surprising because I'm a bad communicator. I'm not saying that obviously what the decision was is responsible for the Bucs winning the game. But and there was one question, I don't have it in front of me, but somebody said, well, if Nick Chubb slides down inside the 5 and doesn't score a touchdown and they kick a field goal instead, isn't that the same thing? My answer to that would be no. I understand the question, appreciate the question. You are keeping points off the board if it's a walk-in. But the difference would be to me is that you have the ball, right? You have the ball. You're trying to score, or if you do decide to slide down, you still have the ball and you're kicking a field goal to win it. Which seems different to me than, hey guys, let's all lay down, let them score so we can get the ball back. We're not even going to try. That we're not going to try part is where I struggle. And I'm not going to change the world on this because apparently it's really common, but
except for the most part, most of the guys made it look like they were trying, so they did a good job.
They really did. At least the front 4 did, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. They went.
There was definitely acting involved. I mean, they should get an Oscar for that.
Yeah.
Except for Winfield, who pulled up about 10 yards short of the goal line. That was the major tip-off. So, and the other part I worry about is like how much is like Zach Beastline, who not once, not twice, but about 3 times Bowles was singing the praises of. He's here for clock management, right? What did they do exceptionally well in Houston? Manage the clock.
Yeah, they scored with 6 seconds left.
Yeah, and the decision, that they made preserved time for them to go down and get the game-winning touchdown.
Yep.
So,
By the way, I did like the tweet that Todd sent you today.
What was that?
He said, if the spread on the Bucs-Texans game was a 3-point spread and the Bucs were up 9 and let Houston score at the end, then I'd have a problem with it. But hello, The Bucs were strategically playing to win the game, not take into account the feeling of the degenerate gamblers. Come on, Rick, listen to your awesome co-host. Love you guys.
Oh, that's the part you loved. The awesome co-host part. Okay. I wondered where we were headed with this. It's blatantly clear now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Signed Mrs. Versnick. I mean, come on. Plant. I know a plant when I smell one.
That's my burner account.
Yeah, there you go. Always wanted one of those. Never did. Should have definitely had one. I listen. Do I have all the answers here? No. Do I know what kind of feels different? I'll just keep going back to this. Why won't anybody? If it's so legal, right? If it's so ethical, then why wouldn't a team that executed that rare feat, let a team score, go down, 6 seconds, score, game over, you keep your 3 timeouts, keep your 2-minute warning. If it was that, we'd be hearing more about it. I think we'd be hearing more about it.
Well, I'm guessing after the game they were hoping no one noticed, which was
dumb.
No one asked it in the post game, so
I know, and I was at the post game, and I'll raise my hand and say I'm an idiot because I'm an idiot.
Right.
The focus at that point, just so you know, of those of you who don't know the inside baseball, we're on deadline. I got about an hour to talk to everybody, including the locker room, and go upstairs and write. And so I'm trying to get from them, just the feeling of redemption, playing without offensive tackles, like just what they had to overcome. Like that's sort of my focus instead of, hey, what's going on here? Is there something nefarious?
Well, like we said, they did a good job of disguising it where it wasn't obvious.
It was not. If you look at the front, the front 7, front 8, those guys are engaged. Yep. When you see the back end, and particularly when you see Winfield, once he breaks containment, and maybe the code red was, hey, we're going to push until he's out of our way, and if they're running for a touchdown, let him go. But you could have gotten a penalty there that would have pushed them out of field goal range, possible interception or turnover. It's just that you can't. There's so few and far between. You'd be dumb to do that. So I don't know. It's a good debate. Big college game this weekend. Florida's at Miami. I'll take Miami. I think what a gauntlet that Billy Napier is trying to navigate up there at Florida. Game day is going to be at Miami, which is kind of cool. The Canes are back a little bit, man. Carson, Beck's been playing really well at quarterback. They
have a good offensive line and defensive line, and that's why they're able to control the game.
They control it, yes.
I mean, that's where USF just couldn't hang with them.
Their offensive line mauls people. They're huge.
Yep.
Like, they're huge.
Yep. Mario Cristobal is finally, put together. I mean, we've talked about that's where the game is won, man. If you can control the line of scrimmage on both sides.
Absolutely.
Like, it makes it so much easier for Carson Beck to have a great day, your receivers, your DBs, everything.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Miami's the real deal this year.
They look real to me, and the quarterback's playing at a high level. He's, a little bit of doubt about him coming from Georgia and just what he was going to bring to him, but he's playing well. And to your point, it's easier to play quarterback when you get that kind of time, and so he's getting it.
The shame is Florida's going to probably go to 1-3, and I don't think they're a bad team. I mean,
I don't think they're a horrible team. They're not a good team.
I mean, they threw 5 picks at LSU and were in that game.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, I'll continue to say it, and maybe he'll prove me wrong. DJ Glagway is just not good. He's just not a good player. He had all the accolades coming out, and deservedly so, perhaps, and maybe someone can develop him, but it's not Napier. He's not doing it because I don't think he's getting better. I want to see my quarterback, if he has that kind of talent and he's that kind of recruit, I want to see him get better year to year, and he's not. Just don't. He's not accurate enough. He doesn't make good decisions at times. It's just hard to watch, and I think there's plays to be made out there, but he's not making them. So you wonder if there is somebody on the bench. There's always somebody, right, that they would turn to if this thing continues to go south. Got to change the coach or change the quarterback. That's all I know what to do when I'm losing in the NFL. Or college football as well. Yeah. But any level of football, there's not much you can do. The guy with the ball controls so much, and I just don't think he's playing very well.
Well, one team that doesn't need to change a quarterback, USF, gets a a lighter schedule now after 3 straight ranked opponents. They're hosting South Carolina State, and then they'll get into conference play after
trap game. It's a trap game, Steve.
Yep. And Florida State gets Kent State.
The good old Kent State. Yeah, that should be a win for the Seminoles, who people I don't think are talking enough about.
Agreed.
I think Seminoles are really good.
Yeah, I think the first week they were talked about because they beat Alabama.
They beat Alabama, yeah.
But then they haven't really played anybody since, so then you don't get talked about so much.
Yeah, until they get another marquee game, but I think they're really, really good. It's a nice bounce back for them from a 2-win season.
Yeah.
It's nice, Florida notwithstanding. I mean, to have Miami and Florida State relevant again will be great.
Yeah.
The Gators should join them soon. I'm not sure why they haven't. And then USF until last week was the best story in college football.
Well, and they still may have the inside track for the college football playoff if they go take care of their business in the conference.
If you win in the conference, they'll be that non-Power 5 school.
You could probably trip up one time, but if you can go 7-1 in the conference and then win the conference championship, you'll probably be the entry into college football playoff.
Yeah, because you got 2 of the biggest wins in the nation, back to back, and you were on everybody's radar. And don't think that doesn't help that you're getting the cover of these magazines and everybody's talking about you on game day. That recognition will sit with people too. So I think that'll help them. But yeah, good thing going with Golish. Let's see if he can keep his team focused and concentrated, and if he can, I think they'll win handily. Finally, I can't figure out the Tampa Bay Rays. They're not going to make the playoffs, or so it appears, but they're still capable of at least splitting and or beating the Toronto Blue Jays. Have a really good baseball team.
So you're telling me there's still a chance they're not eliminated yet?
There's not that. What is it? An X or a check? What do you put by the box when they're out, or nothing? E. Okay, eliminated. Yeah, that E is coming, but it's not an E yet.
So the Mariners and Astros are tied for the third division one. So one of those two was in the wild card.
Got it.
Wild card 2. Boston is wild card 3.
Right.
For the Rays to be eliminated, one more loss by the Rays and the season's over. They have 9 games to go. If Boston and either Seattle or Houston wins one more game, they're eliminated.
Okay. So you're saying there's no chance?
They're saying 9 to 10 games left. There's a chance.
Very little chance at that.
And the Rays have 3 against Boston, so you can win those 3. There's 3 of those each.
Yeah.
Which leaves 6 other games that the Rays must win and Boston must lose.
I don't think it's going to happen, man. I could be wrong. Some of their young players have stood up and showed out, though. Williams had a big day. Yep. Chandler Simpson is on fire right now.
He had 8 hits in the series, including 3 in each of the last 2 games.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
And even his outs are loud. He's just kind of locked in right now. It's fun to watch.
Yep. The amazing thing about the Rays is, so they're 75 and 78, 3 games below 500.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what their run differential is?
Oh, it's massive.
52.
Right? It makes no sense at all. They should be a 90-win team right now.
The Royals are right ahead of them in the standings, minus 19.
Okay.
Cleveland's just out of the first wild card, minus 23.
Mm.
The Astros are tied for their division lead, plus 27. The Rays are 25 runs better differential than that.
That's crazy. Wow.
But, it's not how many you score, it's when you score them.
Yeah, and they've taken turns. They had bullpen issues.
Well, they've lost a lot of close games, and they've won a lot of big games. They've won some blowouts, and then they
won some blowouts. Yeah. Well, what's going to be interesting is if you listen to Paul Delgado, the weather guy, they're going to be one of about 4 or 5 teams that had 0 rainouts this year.
Yep.
0.
It's 4 California teams and Tampa. Of the
insane.
The teams without domes, of course.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Now, some of it was good luck scheduling because there were some weeks they were on the road where it just poured every night. And they would have never got games in.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Some of that was moving a lot of those games out.
Yep.
You made it an unfair advantage maybe, or disadvantage.
They dodged the rain, though. It's pretty successful. Yeah. It's hard to do. in Florida.
But this weekend's the last 3 games at Steinbrenner Field for the Rays, hopefully.
Hopefully in the history of their franchise, yes. Because I think when we look back on it, we'll say they had no choice. It just was awful. When you hear people like Kevin Cash go, I can't wait to play another game in the Trop. Yeah. Words I never thought would be spoken by anybody.
The Rays, baseball, everybody did the best they could there. Like
they did. And they really did.
It was fun to go to games there.
Yeah, it was.
The atmosphere was great.
I loved it.
But just the overcoming the change of venue, the schedule, just their team wasn't necessarily set up for that type of stadium. Just everything about it just was a disadvantage for the Rays. But it was the best you could hope for or do, given the circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't going to find a stadium that was better. I think there'll be growth from this, from the adversity and some of the stuff they went through.
Yeah.
We get some players back. If you do get back in the Trop, it's still going to feel glorious, as far as the climate control goes and stuff. And they've won plenty of baseball games there. They won plenty of baseball games on the road too.
Yep.
But it just didn't work out, or whatever that thing was. It just didn't, they didn't play well enough when they were home to get there. And that's tough, but
they need at least one win this weekend to finish with a winning record at Steinbrenner Field.
Well, that would be progress. I saw where Junior Caminero was hurt.
Yeah, he said he felt better today. They didn't play him today, but he left Wednesday's game or Tuesday's game.
What does he need to get the franchise record? That Pena
2 home runs to tie, 3 to pass.
Wow, that's incredible.
9 games to go, so
he could do it. He can most definitely do it if they pitch to him.
Yep.
Well, it should be a good weekend. Bucs finally at home, thank God. And they play, 1:00, I think, on Sunday.
That's correct.
You're getting closer to the Lightning games, right?
The first preseason game will be Monday night.
How about that?
It's on the road at Carolina. The first home game's next Friday, but
it's awesome. A little playoff or preseason hockey.
Yeah, first practice training camp opened on Thursday for the Lightning, so it'll be open again on Friday. They'll be there Friday, Saturday. It's at TGH Iceplex in Brandon. It's free and open to the public. Anybody who wants to show up.
Yeah, you should go. It's real intimate. It's great to watch those guys skate. I mean, they're really, really good. So plenty to talk about next week. College football, of course, notwithstanding with the Bulls and Florida State and all of that. And we'll bring it to you. Go on down and visit my friends at Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. That's where you're going to find the beautiful watches for men and women. And they've been celebrating the NFL's 104th year anniversary with a Buccaneers watch. Go on tampabay.com. See a picture of this thing. It's incredible. It's got the team colors, the logo inside. Just terrific. And make sure you let them know that you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. For Steve Versnick, I'm Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.